Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Let me find this charger before this thing goes out. 1 second, y'all. I gotta get this other charger. All right. I'll be reading from the book of Matthew, chapter 5, the teachings of our only begot the teachings of the only begotten Son of God, Yahushua HaMashiach, which starts in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 2, and ends in the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 28. Let's begin. Bear with me as I try to get through this, y'all willing. Book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 1. But when he saw the crowds, he went up on a mountain. And when he was seated, his taught ones, his students, his disciples, came to him. Verse 2. And having opened his mouth, he was teaching them, saying, he's going to continue saying until chapter 7, verse 28. Verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit, because theirs is the kingdom of the heavens. So the poor in spirit are those who are humble. Poor in spirit are those who are humble. Verse 4. Blessed are those who mourn, because they shall be comforted. So mourning, meaning mourning for others other than yourself, other than your family, other than, your friends. Mourn for everyone. Mourn for everyone. Blessed are those who mourn, because they shall be comforted. Having empathy. This is what is expected. Empathizing with others other than yourself, other than your family, other than your friends. Verse 5. Blessed are the meek, because they shall inherit the earth. So blessed are the meek, blessed are the friendly, blessed are the approachable, because they shall inherit the earth. Those who will inherit the earth are people who are friendly, people who can get along with others. If you can't get along with others, you can't expect to inherit the earth. If you can't be friendly, you can't be, if you're not an approachable individual, you can't expect to inherit the earth. Verse 6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, because they shall be filled. So blessed and thirst for righteousness. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. When you hunger and thirst for righteousness, that means you hunger and thirst to guard the commandments. You hunger and thirst to guard the commandments, according to the definition of righteousness in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 24 to 25. Righteousness means, one who guards the commandments. So when you hunger and thirst to guard his commandments, you will be filled. You would be filled. You would be satisfied. You would do just that. Verse 7. Blessed are the compassionate, because they shall obtain compassion. So blessed are the compassionate. Blessed are the compassionate. Blessed are the compassionate, and you obtain, in order to obtain compassion, you have to be compassionate. You have to have compassion on others, empathy on others, you know, mercy on others. In order to be shown mercy, you have to have this. You will want the same for you. You want the same. You will want someone to get, have mercy on you and have compassion on you. Verse 8, blessed are the clean in heart, because they shall see Elohim. They should see God. So when you develop all of the above, you develop this clean heart in your spirit, because the flesh heart is wicked. The flesh heart is corrupt. The flesh heart is, what I mean, compromised by the ancient knowledge of evil. So it's the spiritual heart, is your spiritual child of God heart within you. That you develop when you start to demonstrate all that was listed. When you start to demonstrate being poor in spirit, that's you demonstrating humility. That's you developing this clean heart, this clean spiritual heart. When you mourn for others, that's you having empathy for others. That's you developing this clean spiritual heart. When you are meek, friendly, approachable, that's you developing this clean spiritual heart. When you are guarding his commandments, hungering and thirsting for righteousness, basically taking the initiative to guard his commands, that's you developing this clean spiritual heart. When you are, when you are having compassion for on others and mercy on others, that's you developing this clean spiritual heart. And this is what give you access to see God in everything. You start to see God in everything. See God in everything. His everything that you see, all his creation, you start to see him. You start to hear God in everything. Like, it's not in what you would noticeably know that it's from God. You would see and hear him, but this space, this more so speaks on seeing God. So blessed are the clean in heart, because they shall see Elohim. They should see God. So when you start seeing God in every blessing, in every, in everything, in every creation, yeah, that means you've demonstrated all of the above, humility, being poor in spirit, mourning, having empathy, meek, approachable, friendly, uh obedient, being hungering and thirsting for righteousness, guarding his commands, being compassionate, being merciful to others. That's what that means when you start seeing God in everything. That means you're demonstrated those acts of kindness, God-like acts, and the acts of and demonstrations and examples of his only begotten son that he's teaching us. Verse 9, blessed are the peacemakers, because they shall be called sons of Elohim, meaning children of God, spiritual children of God, peacemakers. Blessed are the peacemakers, because they will be known as spiritual children of God. So you have to make peace with others. You have to make peace with your enemies. You have to make peace between enemies, not strangers, people you know that are enemies. Don't go button your nose in business that's not concerning yours. But if you know people are enemies, make peace between them. Make peace with them. This is what makes you a spiritual child of God, because this is the toughest thing to do, to make peace with person that you are that you're not peaceful with. That's the toughest thing to do. Toughest thing to do is to love your enemy. This is why we're going to see later where he's going to say it again, loving your enemies, so that you become spiritual children of God. This is the same. He's starting it off, because it's going to start. He's just like he's starting it off. He's going to end it in chapter 7, where he's these teachings is all. It starts with you loving your enemies. You bringing yourself to love your enemies, because that's the toughest thing for the flesh to do. So you have to tap into your spiritual child of God to do this, because your flesh don't want to love enemies. Your flesh don't want to make peace. Your flesh don't want to forgive. Your flesh don't want to, have mercy. Your flesh doesn't. Your flesh wants to hold the grudge. Your flesh wants revenge. Your flesh wants to come, get back. That's what the flesh wants to do. So it says, "Blessed are peacemakers, because they shall be called children of God, spiritual children of God." God doesn't have fleshly children. He has spiritual children. He don't have flesh children. He doesn't have children of men. He has children of him, children that's spiritual, that taps into their breath of life spirit, the breath of life spirit within, that lives off of his breath, which is spiritual. He's a spirit, he's the supreme spirit, so he's expecting spiritual children. Blessed are the peacemakers, because they should be called spiritual children of God. Verse 10. Blessed are those persecuted for righteousness' sake. This is the book of Matthew, by the way. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5. These are the teachings that begin in verse 2. And he's going to continue teaching us till chapter 7 of Matthew's, verse 28. We're going to see this all through and through. Verse 10. Blessed are the persecuted for righteousness' sake, because theirs is the kingdom of the heavens. For righteousness' sake means for the sake of you guarding his commandments. That's righteousness, guarding his commandments. How do we know that? Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 24 to 25. That's our righteousness, is guarding his commandments. So blessed are those persecuted for righteousness' sake, not for just any old sake, for guarding his commandments. If you're persecuted for guarding his commandments, the kingdom of heaven, you've given yourself access to the kingdom. It says, because theirs is the kingdom of the heavens. So if you're persecuted for guarding his commands, be rejoice, because you're gaining access to the kingdom. Blessed are you when they reproach and persecute you, and falsely say every wicked word against you, for my sake. For my sake. That's the key. That's the key in the whole verse. Is for my sake. Not just for your sake, or you just doing you. No, for his sake, for what he's teaching us, for what he's currently teaching us. Basically, for the sake of being poor in spirit and humble, for the sake of mourning for others and having empathy, for the sake of being meek, friendly, and approachable, for the sake of guarding his commandments, hungering and thirsting for righteousness, for the sake of being compassionate, merciful, for the sake of being a peacemaker, for that sake, for that sake. Blessed are you when they reproach or persecute you and falsely say every wicked word against you for that sake. Verse 12. Rejoice and be glad. Rejoice and be glad when this happens. Rejoice and be glad for people just, you know, coming after you or making up stuff against you just by being obedient, just because you've been obedient, just because you've been humble, just because you've been compassionate, just for you doing all of this. You know what I mean? Just for you doing all this, they're being mean towards you because you're humble. They're being mean towards you because you're being compassionate and you're having empathy for others. They're being mean towards you because you're guarding the commandments. They're being mean towards you because you are being a peacemaker. They're being mean towards you because of this. So he's like, rejoice. because it's like, yeah, it's like they're it may be strange to someone, in the flesh, like they messing with me for no reason. But there's a reason. There's a reason. And when this happens, rejoice, because why? It says rejoice and be glad because your reward in heaven is great. Your reward in heaven is great when this is happening. Your reward in heaven is great when this is happening. For in this way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. In this way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. So meaning the in this same way, the prophets who were before us, the ancient prophets, were on this the same way as the only begotten Son of God. They were on the same way as the only begotten Son of God. The prophets of old were poor in spirit, humble. The prophets of old were mourning for others other than their family and friends. They had empathy for others other than their family and friends. The prophets of old were meek, friendly, approachable. The prophets of old were hungering and thirsting for righteousness, meaning those who guard his commandments. They were guarding his commandments. Just like the Messiah is telling you to guard his commands, because he's telling you to hunger and thirst for righteousness. Our righteousness is guarding the commandments. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 24 to 25. That's the definition of it. So the prophets of before us was doing this. The prophets before us, the prophets of old, were compassionate, merciful. The prophets before us were clean in heart and seeing God in everything. The prophets before us were peacemakers. So in this way, they persecuted the prophets before us, before you. So rejoice and be glad because your reward in heaven is great, because they're treating you like they treated the prophets, picking on you for no reason, mean to you for no reason, making up stuff about you for no reason. Verse 13, you are the salt of the earth, but if the salt becomes tasteless, how shall it be seasoned? For it is no longer of any use but to be thrown out and to be trodden down by men. So what makes you the salt of the earth? Being humble, poor in spirit. You are no you are no longer of any use if you're not poor in spirit and humble. You're no longer of any use if you're not mourning for others and having empathy for others. You're no longer of any use if you're not meek, friendly, and approachable. You're no longer of any use if you're not hungering and thirsting for righteousness, which is guarding his commandments. You're no longer of any use if you're not compassionate, merciful to others. You're no longer of any use if you're not, a peacemaker. You're no longer of any use but to be thrown out and trodden down by men. Verse 14, you are the light of the world. It is impossible for a city to be hidden on a mountain. Verse 15, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it shines to all those in the house. Verse 16, let your light so shine before men, so that they see your good works and praise your Father who is in the heavens, so that they see your good works. What are your good works? What are your good works? Your good works are being humble, poor in spirit. Your good works are mourning for others, having empathy. Your good works are being meek, friendly, approachable. Let your light shine. What is your light? What is your works? This is your light and your works. Your light and your works is poor in spirit, humble, mourning for others, empathy, meek, friendly, approachable. What is your light? What is your works? Hungering and thirsting for righteousness, guarding his commands. That's your light. That's your works. People can see this. People can see this. People can't see your faith unless you do, and unless you're demonstrating, unless you're doing, unless you're demonstrating. People can't see your belief unless you're doing, unless you're demonstrating. How do you demonstrate this? How do you show this? By humility, showing that you're poor in spirit. By mourning for others, showing that you empathize with others. By by you being meek, friendly, approachable, showing that you're, you know what I mean? By guarding his commandments, showing that you hunger and thirst for righteousness. This is your light. This is your light. This is your good works. Having compassion for others, be merciful to others. This is how you show your good works, so they can see your good works. So they can see your good works. This is how you show that you have good. This is how you show that you have faith. This is how you show that you have belief. This is how you show. This is what he needs you to do. He don't need it to be hidden in something, a disguise. It's not a disguise. It's not a disguise. It's something that he need others to see in you. Let your light so shine before men. Let your light so shine before men. He didn't say before him like he sees it, but he needs others with flesh eyes to see it as well. The only way flesh can see it is for you to demonstrate. It's for you to demonstrate it. For you to put it in this on display. Let your light shine before men so that they see your good works. See that you're a peacemaker. See that you're compassionate, merciful. See that you follow the instructions of God and guard his commandments. And you hunger and thirst for righteousness. See that you're meek, friendly, approachable. See that you're poor in spirit and humble. People need to see this. The Most High need to see people. The Most High need people to see this out of you. The only begotten Son need people to see this out of you. Why? So that they praise your Father who is in the heavens. So that they praise your Father who is in the heavens. Why would they praise your Father who is in the heavens? Because, like, wow, man, there is good people in the world. That's the feeling that people get when they see good out of people. Wow, people are humble. Wow, there's still people who are humble. Wow, there's still people who are poor in spirit. Wow, there's still people who are mourning for others, mourning for strangers. Wow, there's people who are meek, friendly, and approachable. Wow, there's people who are, you know, guarding his commandments, following his instructions, obeying his spiritual government. Wow, there's still people who do that. Wow, there's still people who are peacemakers, who wants to make peace. Wow, there's still people who are compassionate and merciful. Wow. Praise Yah, praise God. That's what it'll lead to. After the while, people will say praise God, and they haven't talked to God in years. They're going to praise God and haven't talked to God or known God in years, but they see your light so shine before them that they have no choice but to praise God because if they've seen how you treat someone else or how you treated them. They have no choice but to praise him like, wow, it has to be God. Has to be God. For them to be good to me, and I was mean to them. For them to be good to me in response of me being mean to them, praise God. They don't even have conversations or pray to God, but they're going to praise God. And it may lead to them having relationship with God. It may lead to them having, talks with God. Because of you letting your light so shine before men. And your good works being seen. Verse 17, do not think that I came to destroy the Torah or the prophets. This is the book of Matthew, by the way. chapter 5, verse 17. These are the teachings of the only begotten Son that started in verse 2 and will go and carry on into chapter 7, verse 28. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5. We're in verse 17 now. Do not think that I came to destroy the Torah or the prophets. These are the words of the only begotten Son of God. Do not think that I, the only begotten Son of God, is what he's saying, came to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to complete. What this is saying, what he is saying is, do not think, don't even think that I came to destroy what? The instructions of God. Because what is the instructions of God? Torah. Literally. Literally, that's the meaning of Torah, is instructions of God. So he says, don't even think it. Don't even let that be a theory of yours. Don't even let that be a theory. Don't even let that be a teaching, let alone a teaching of yours. Don't let that be a theory, let alone a message of yours. Don't let it be a thought. Don't let it be a thought that I came to destroy, do away with the instructions of God or the prophets. What are the prophets? The prophets are his prophecies, the prophecies of the prophets of God. So don't even think, let alone let it be a message that you deliver to others, let alone let it be a teaching that you teach to others, that I came to destroy or do away with the instructions of my Father or the prophecies of his prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to complete, meaning I did not come to destroy or do away with it, but to actually follow them, demonstrate them, and fulfill the prophecies. This is what is said. This is what is being said. So more than you have more than you have millions of people going around letting this be a thought and letting this thought become a message and letting this message become a sermon, letting this sermon become a teaching that he's done away with the Torah, the instructions of God. When he himself said not to even let this be a thought of yours. He himself said this, let this not even be a thought of yours. I did not come to destroy, but to complete, meaning I did not come to destroy, but to show them, follow them, and leave them as an example, be an example on how to follow them, demonstrate how to follow these instructions of God, and fulfill the prophecies of the prophets of God. Verse 18, for truly I say to you, till the heaven and the earth pass away, one yod or one title shall by no means, pass from the Torah till all be done. What is he saying? What is this says? What does this mean? For truly I say to you, till heaven, meaning the sky, and the earth, meaning the land that we walk on, pass away, until both pass away, meaning till the stars fall that the prophecy speak of, till the sun go dark that the prophecy speak of, till the moon go dark that the prophecy speak of, till the ground split that the prophecy speak of, or the ground shake that the prophecy speak of. One sentence, one word shall not shall by no means pass from the instructions of God till all prophecies are done, till all prophecies are fulfilled. That's what this is saying. Till all prophecies are fulfilled. The instructions is still to be followed. Instructions of God is still to be followed. The sun is still light. The sun is still sunning. The moon is still mooning. The stars are still starring. The earth is still earthing. So as long as they're still doing them, as long as they still doing them, the instructions of God shall be followed. Because the prophecies have not been fulfilled yet. The prophecy of the sun not sunning anymore, and the moon not mooning anymore, and the stars not starring anymore, and the earth not earthing anymore, has not been fulfilled yet. Verse 19, whoever then breaks one of the least of these commands and teaches men so, shall be called least in the reign of the heavens. What does he mean by this? So whoever breaks the least of either his instructions or his father's instructions, the least of them, but they teaching others that they shouldn't be broken, they will be known as the least in the kingdom. But at least they'll be in the kingdom. So if you're breaking the least of his commands or a least of his father's commands, and you're falling short at the least of his commands, but you're letting everyone know that you've fallen short. You're confessing that you're falling short to them, or if you have fallen short to them, and you're striving to be better at not falling short to them, and they should be better than you and not fall short to them. You will be the least in the kingdom, but at least you'll be in the kingdom. At least you'll be in the kingdom. And he goes on to say, but whoever does and teaches them these commandments, these commands of his or his father's, he shall be called great in the kingdom of heavens. So if anyone is able to do the least of his commands, or in the least of his father's commands, and also teach the least of his commands, and also teach the least of his father commands, this person will earn his or herself the right to be called great in the kingdom. They will earn themselves every bit of the right to be called great in the kingdom. They will earn that. Verse 20, for I say to you that unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you shall by no means, enter into the kingdom of the heaven. So you should by no means enter into the kingdom of the heaven unless means there's a stipulation. You should by no means enter into the kingdom of the heavens unless your righteousness, meaning you guarding the commandments, exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees. So you guarding the commandments of his father and guarding the commandments of his, which is humbling yourself, mourning for others, meek to others, guarding the commands of his father, being compassionate, and being a peacemaker. This is what the only begotten Son asks you to do. Forgive. So unless you're able to do that, you should by no means enter into the kingdom of the heavens. He's about to teach us how to do this. Verse 21. You heard that it was said to those of old, you should not murder. And whoever murders shall be liable to judgment. We know this. The scribes and the Pharisees know this. They observe this. We should continue to observe this. But this is what the Messiah, the only begotten Son, says to take it a step further. For our righteousness to exceed that of the scribes and the Pharisees, so that we can enter. But I say to you that whoever is rough, meaning angry with his brother or sister, without a cause, shall be liable to judgment. Without a cause, shall be liable to judgment. If you're angry with your brethren or your sister without a cause, you make yourself liable to judgment. And whoever says his brother, Raka, whoever says to his brother, Raka, this is what the scribes and the Pharisees avoided saying to each other, shall be liable to the Sanhedrin. We know this. This is what they observe. This is what they observe. This is what the scribes and the Pharisees avoid doing, calling each other Raka. But this is what he says. This is what the Messiah says for you to get your righteousness to exceed theirs. But whoever says, you fool, shall be liable to the fire of Gehenna. So the fool is like anything you call someone out of their name that comes from a place of malice. Any name you call someone out of that comes from a place of malice. Any name you call a person coming from a place of malice. That would make you liable to the fire of Gehenna. That would make you liable to the fire of Gehenna. Verse 23. If then you bring your gift to the slaughter place, and there remember that your brother holds whatever against you, your brother and your sister holds whatever against you, so you find yourself in a place of worship with other brothers and sisters, or a gathering with other brothers and sisters, assembly with other brothers and sisters, a congregation with other brothers and sisters, and then remember that your brother holds whatever, or your brother or sister holds whatever against you, your one brother or sister holds whatever against you, you have to leave your gift there before the slaughter place and go. First, make peace with your brother or sister, then come and offer your gift. So you got to leave your other brothers and sisters in the place of worship, in your gathering, in congregation, in assembly. Leave your other brothers and sisters if you remember your one brother or sister that you got an issue with. If you remember your one brother or sister you have an issue with while you're in the midst of your other brothers and sisters, you have to stop everything you're doing, call them, go see them, go text them, whatever you got to go do to make that right between you two, between you and them. Make peace. Leave your gift before your slaughter place and go. First, make peace with your brother or sister, and then come offer your gift. Then come congregate. Then come assemble. Then and only then, come gather with your other brothers and sisters. After you'd have made peace with your one brother and sister. Verse 25, be well minded with your opponent promptly while you are on the way with him, lest your opponent deliver you to the judge, and the judge to the officer, and you be thrown into prison. Verse 26, truly I say to you, you shall by no means get out of there till you have paid the last penny. So before your brother or sister want to take before they feel like they have to take matters in their own hands in order for you to pay them back, pay them back. Let them know how you're going to pay them back. This is what the Messiah, the only begotten Son of God, is telling us. It's to pay our debts to our brothers and sisters. Pay what we owe our brothers and sisters. Not no collector, not no collections. We talking about actual people, brothers and sisters, who rely on you paying them back. Who counts on you paying them back. So it's like, yo, before they take matters in their own, even try to take matters in their own hand or take you to court, pay these people back. Pay these brothers and sisters back. Or explain to them how you're going to get them paid. Explain to them how you're going to get them paid. If you know what I mean? Some form of payment plan. Something. Don't just act as if it's nothing to talk about. Don't just act as if it's nothing to see here whenever you're around them. That's not cool. The Messiah said it's not cool. The only begotten Son says it's not cool. Pay your brother and your sister what you owe them, or explain to them that you're going to pay them, how you're going to pay them, or some form of payment plan. This is what the Messiah is asking, because he knows that builds resentment. That's an unavoidable resentment that comes on a person that you owe. You don't want nobody to resent you. You don't want no one to resent you for you acting as if you don't owe them. You don't want nobody to resent you if for you acting as if, you know, there's nothing to be paid. Or you know what I mean, you didn't tell them that you were going to pay them back. You didn't vow to them that you were going to pay them back. People resent you if you lie to them because you deceived them. You know, they feel deceived and they feel hoodwinked. They feel like you pull a wool over their eyes. So they have no choice but to resent you, and may lead to them wanting to take matters in their own hands to come get their money. It may lead to them wanting to take you court depending on how much the money is. So pay your debts, man. Before you get taken to court and be thrown into prison, you won't come out until you paid the last penny, or be fined until you paid the last penny. This is what the courts will do if they were to bring you to court. Verse 27, you heard that it was said to those of old, you should not commit adultery. We heard this. Scribes and the Pharisees heard this. They observed this. We should continue to observe this. But this is what the Messiah, the only begotten Son of God, says in order for us to get our righteousness to exceed that of the scribes and the Pharisees so we can enter into the kingdom. This is what he says. But I say to you that everyone looking at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. What does he mean by this? So when you're looking at it, when you're imagining yourself being with a woman who's married, you're imagining yourself being with this woman. You're already committing an adultery in your imagination. Or if you're married yourself and you're imagining being with a woman that you're not married to, you're committing an adultery in your imagination. Or if you're imagining being with a woman and neither of you are engaged or whatever the case may be, or married, but yet you have no intentions on marrying this woman, and you're just imagining being with her, laying with her, yeah, you're committing adultery in your imagination because you have no intent. Your intent is not to engage. Your intent is not to marry. Your intent is just to carry out the lustful imagination. And all men struggle with this. All men who are obedient men, who obedient to their true nature, which is to be attracted to a woman, we all struggle with this. And we just have to check ourselves in the middle of it. We have to check it, rebuke the thought, rebuke the imagination, rebuke it in real time. It's tough. It's a struggle. I get it. It's one thing to be attracted to a woman. You want to see if you know what I mean. You can engage, and y'all can you can set up an engagement arrangement. You know what I mean, and leads to marry. You know what I mean. You have to. It starts with attraction. You have to be attracted to who you're with. You know what I mean. So that's natural. But if you don't have no intentions on it leading to nothing, leading to engagement, and you don't have no intentions on it leading to, you know, you locking it in, yeah, you out of pocket. You know what I mean? You got to rebuke it. Verse 29. And if your right eye causes you to stumble, pluck it out, throw it away from you. Throw it away from you, for it is better for you that one of your members perish than for the entire body to be thrown into the Gehenna. What does he mean by this? He doesn't actually want you to do damage to your own eye. That will cause you to possibly bleed out. He doesn't want that. What this he's talking about your spiritual eye. He's talking about what you're watching. Pluck out whatever it is, program, whatever is causing you to stumble. Don't watch it. Whatever causes you to sin, don't watch it. For men, it's triple X. For us, it's triple X. It's the corn. It's the corn. This is what leads us to stumble. This is what leads us to sin. This is what leads the men to sin. As far as against ourselves is watching the corn. And yeah, we can't we got to pluck it out. We have to pluck out the program, pluck out the app, pluck out the website. Whatever we could do, man, listen. I know i know myself, and I know I don't speak for just myself. So that's something that I look forward to being plucked out. And I get and I take it to another level if I figure out how to pluck it out myself and restrict myself from it. You know what I mean? Restrict ourselves from it. That would be that would be plucking it out. You know what I mean? That would be the equivalent to plucking out what caused you to stumble. You know what I mean? What causes you to trip up, what causes you to sin, is restricting yourself of that website, is restricting yourself of that app, restricting yourself of that network, that program. For it is better for you that one of your members perish than for your entire body to be thrown into Gehenna. Verse 30. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away from you. For it is better for you that one of your members perish than for your entire body to be thrown into Gehenna. What does he mean by this? He doesn't want you to do harm to your right hand. That will cause you to bleed, possibly bleed out. What he's saying is your right, your closest person, your right hand woman, your right hand man, the closest person to you. If they're causing you to stumble, if they're seducing you to stumble, if they're you know persuading you to stumble, to sin, if they're trying to persuade you to do something that sinful, wicked, unclean, evil, sinful, you have to cut them off. You got to cut them off. Cut these people off. And even even in the body of the Messiah, this assembly, two or three are gathered. Where two or three are gathered. If one is trying to cause the rest to stumble, y'all got to cut this person off. Y'all got to address it one on one with that person. Then if they don't hear you, address it, two on three or on one. And if they don't hear them, then the whole assembly addresses this one person. And if he still doesn't hear it, you got to cut this person off. Got to cut this person off because they trying to peer pressure you into stumbling and sinning, doing something unclean, doing something evil, doing something wicked, doing something that's against the instructions of God, in disobedience of his government. Cut this person off. It may be a family, it may be a friend, it may be a family or a long time friend. You got to make up some reason why you're not around them anymore, or just tell them how it is. Like, yo, you try to get me to do this, man. I can't. You tried to get you on this, then you gonna want me to be on this with you. I can't be with that. Can't get with that. Just tell it how it is. I can't get with that, man. I can't get with that, sis. I can't get with that, cuz. I can't get with that, bro. I can't get with that, mom. I can't get with that, dad. I can't get with that, I can't get with that, auntie. I can't get with that, homie. I can't get with that, friend. Verse 31. And it has been said, whoever puts away his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. We heard this. The scribes and the Pharisees observed this. We should continue to observe this, but this is how we should continue to observe it. This is how the Messiah tells us to observe this. You can't just put away your wife for just give her, you can't divorce her for just anything. This is what the Messiah says. Verse 32, but I say to you that whoever puts away his wife, divorce her, except except for the matter of whoring, except for the matter of whoring, meaning her cheating with her laying with another man, he makes her commit adultery. And whoever marries a woman who has been put away commits adultery. So we can't put away our wives or women, who we make our wives. We can't put them away for any for not getting along with them, for not being attracted to him anymore, for being attracted to another woman. You can't put your wife away for that. Can't divorce your wife for that. You only can divorce or put away your wife for her sleeping with another male, sleeping with another man, committing whoring. Like that's the only that's the only exception. It's the only exception. There's no getting out of that unless she laid down with another man. You know what I mean? Like that's the only way. Can't just divorce your wife because you don't find her attractive, or y'all not getting along, and y'all, you know what I mean? Y'all not this, y'all not that. And if she's looking to divorce you, best believe she laid with another man. If she's looking to divorce you, she definitely laid with someone. Like it's you can count that as her. You can lock that in and guarantee that she slept with another man if she going as far as to divorce you, wanting to divorce you. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, to stay on topic, yeah, that's what this is about. This is the book of Matthews, by the way. If you're not, if you're new, you're just pulling up. This is the book of Matthews, chapter 5, verse 32, where the Messiah, the only begotten Son of God, says, you know, the only exception for divorce, for you to divorce a woman, divorce your wife, is due to her laying, sleeping with another man, another male. That's the only exception. You can't divorce for no other reason, according to the only begotten Son of God, according to the Messiah, according to Scripture, according to, if you believe and follow the instructions of God, the only begotten Son of God. If you don't follow the only begotten Son of God, then do go, as you were. If you don't follow the only begotten Son of God and the Messiah, as you were, do you divorce? Do all that. Divorce according to how you want and how why you want and the reasons you want. But you can't say that you follow the only begotten Son of God and go and divorce your wife for if she hasn't slept with another man. You can't say that you follow or believe in the Son of God if you went and divorced your wife just because you're not attracted or y'all not getting along, or if you found another woman you're attracted to. Can't divorce her. Hey man, I could say more, but I'm gonna leave it at that for the sake of time. Verse 33. Again, you heard that it was said to those of old, you should not swear falsely, but shall perform your oaths to Yahuwah. We heard this. The scribes and the Pharisees observed this. We should continue to observe this, but this is what the Messiah say about this. In order to get our righteousness to exceed the scribes and the Pharisees, this is what he says. But I say to you, do not swear at all, neither by the heavens, because it is God's throne. Verse 35, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great kings. Verse 36, nor swear by your head, because you are not able to make one hair white or black. Verse 37, but let your word yes be yes, and your no be no. And what goes beyond these is from the wicked one. So he's saying whatever goes beyond yes being yes and your no being no, just simply telling someone yes or simply telling someone no, is basically, it's from the wicked one. It's finessing, it's working your craft, it's manipulation, trying to convince. That's yeah, that's finessing. That's from the wicked one, is what the Messiah is saying. Shouldn't have to go through all them hurdles to for someone to believe you. If they believe you, they believe you or they don't. They either gonna believe your yes as yes or your no as no, or they don't. He's saying don't go out the way, don't go as far as to don't try to convince someone with many words, because that's many words is from the wicked one, obviously. Like, what I mean, going as far as to, like, try to swear on this person and swear on that person and swear on your dead and swear on this and swear on God, and yeah, that's all from the wicked one. It's from the wicked one. You know what I mean? We have to just keep it short, keep it concise. Yes, it happened. No, it didn't happen. Yes, it's true. No, it isn't true. If that's not acceptable, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to go in, and it's hard to not try to convince people. It's hard not to go as far as to try to show proof. It's hard, the flesh wants to prove that, yo, what I'm saying is true. Everyone in the flesh wants to do this. Is prove that they are trustworthy, prove that they are honest, prove that what they're saying is the truth. But we have to fight off that urge to prove. We have to fight off that urge to, you know, convince. What am I convinced? What am I have? Why am I having to convince you? I shouldn't. I'm not. Listen, we have to trust that it will be revealed. What is hidden will be revealed. That's what we have to trust. What is hidden will be revealed and be known. You know what I mean? By simply yes, yes, no, no, and just leave it at that. Verse 38. You heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. We heard this. The scribes and the Pharisees heard this. They continue to observe this. But this is what the Messiah says in order for us to get our righteousness to exceed the scribes and the Pharisees. This is what he says. This is what he says in order for us to enter into the kingdom. It says, but I say to you, do not resist the wicked, meaning don't run from the wicked. Don't run from the wicked when you come encounter with the wicked. Don't run from them. This is what he means by this. Don't resist the wicked. Don't run. But whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also. Now I know what you're thinking. Like, oh, I ain't going for that. The flesh. This is what all flesh is saying. All flesh is like, man, I ain't turning no other cheek. All flesh is saying this. All flesh is on this. All flesh want all the smoke as far as like not turning the other cheek. But this is what he's trying to get out of us. He doesn't want the flesh. He wants the spiritual child of God to respond like this. He wants the spiritual child of God to turn the other cheek. Now, you can avoid getting slapped like me. I do my best to avoid it. I don't go places where people go to and they slap people. I don't go around people who slap people. I use my discernment, my spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and my discernment and my judgment of people to know how people are and if they're a person who wants to go around slapping people. If I got to worry about this person, you know, snap crackling and trying to pop me, just out of pure, un no self control. You know what I mean? And this is what people who have no self control. If you avoid people who have no self control, if you avoid talking about people, first of all, if you avoid slander, which what the Messiah says we shouldn't do, the Most High said we shouldn't do. If you avoid slander and false witnessing, making up lies about people, you don't have to worry about nobody wanting to slap you. If you avoid, first of all, first and foremost, if you avoid talking about people, slandering people, and making up lies about people, and lying to people, or stealing from people, doing anything harm, like anything against the commandments towards people, if you avoid that, you don't have to worry about someone trying to slap you. And if you don't go to places where people get too where people get under the influence of unclean spirits, meaning under the influence of of substances and you know what I mean? If you avoid going to these places, then you avoid, you lessen your chances of getting slapped. You lessen, you if you go to these places, you increase your chances of getting slapped. So when you go to these places, you don't run when you would come encounter with somebody that's you know fixing to slap you. The Messiah is like, yo, don't when if you there in the mid, you don't go running. Don't resist the wicked. You have to stand and take it. Cause you bought that. Nobody told you to go around these people who slap people. So now that we're here, go ahead and give your best impression of the superhero and lift your chin up like, is that all you got? Give your best impression of your favorite character in the movie. You know what I'm saying, when the villain slaps them and they they got it, they look and laugh it off like, is that all you got? You gotta you there. We here now. If you find yourself, you can't run from him. You gotta find, that's what he's asked you to do, is turn the cheek. Like, man, is that you don't gotta go as far as to being arrogant and say that all you got, but like, you just gotta take it, man. And this will be the strongest demonstration of you. This is one of the strongest demonstrations of being a spiritual child of God. When you just take it. I don't want nobody to put their hands on me. So I'm avoiding. So I'm going to use my discernment to avoid people I should that I don't have no business being around. I'm a heed to the spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that I read in the Proverbs and the Psalms, to avoid making up, to avoid, what I'm saying, slandering people, making up lies about people. I don't I'm a guard the commandments. I'm not going to I don't false witness towards you. I'm not going to make up lies about you. I'm not going to slander you. I'm not going to, what I'm saying, lie to you or steal from you. I'm not going to give you no reasons for you to feel like you want to slap me. I'm not doing that. So you don't give nobody a reason to slap you. You don't have to worry about getting slapped. You don't have to worry about turning the other cheek. Don't give nobody a reason to. Stop talking about people. Stop lying on people. Stop stealing from people. Stop lying. Stop slandering people. Stop making fun of people and mocking people. You ain't got to worry about getting slapped. You ain't got to worry about turning the other cheek. So that's why I don't have to worry about turning the other cheek. And this is why you shouldn't worry about turning the other cheek if you do the same. Take heed to the guard the commandments. Don't steal, don't false witness, don't slander. You know what I mean? Don't, you know what I mean? It's that simple, man. It's really that simple. Because it's the flesh that wants to get an eye for an eye. It's the flesh that wants to get they hit back, slap somebody back. It's the flesh that felt the slap. So yeah, it's the flesh that wants to do some slapping. The spirit ain't the spirit that didn't do nothing to the spirit. You didn't slap the spirit, the spiritual child of God. The spiritual child of God is spirit. So the spiritual child of God ain't got no fight, ain't got no fight in that. You know what I mean? Spiritual child of God is like, man, listen, nobody told you to come here. The spiritual child of God, and then the spiritual child of God, and you like, man, you the one that wanted to come here. I told you to fall back. I told you that we should chill. I told you that this ain't no place that we should be going. I told you to not say that about that person. I told you the spiritual child of God like, I told you not to lie. I told you not to steal. I told you not to make up that, lie about that person. This is what the spiritual child of God is saying. Like, man, listen, like you know what I mean? Here's another example. Verse 40. And he who wishes to sue you and take away your inner garment, let him have your outer garment as well. So this is another test of the spirit in the flesh. The spiritual child of God is don't care about, somebody taking their shirt. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you took my shirt last time you was here. Here's the pants that go with it. This is what the spiritual child of God is thinking. This is what the spirit is thinking. But the flesh is like, man, like you took my shirt last time. You asking to borrow my pant and the pants. Like if you don't go somewhere, this is how the flesh. This is why how our all flesh. This is how all of our flesh is thinking. If anyone stole something from, if anyone stole something from us already, we ain't looking to let them hold anything else. You ain't getting nothing else out of me. That's our favorite. Like you won't get nothing from me. Don't ask me for nothing. Is that not our words? Like don't ask me for nothing. I swear, don't ask me for nothing. This is how we. This is how our flesh is. What our flesh is saying. But the spiritual child of God in this is like, I don't care about no clothes. I can't. I don't wear clothes. I'm spirit. I don't care for clothes. I'm the spirit within you. I don't care for these pants, those pants. I'm the spirit within you. That doesn't benefit me. So you getting slapped on the cheek doesn't hurt me. You wearing clothes doesn't beautify me. You know what I mean? It's the flesh that's concerned with it. So when someone takes your shirt, give to them the pants that go with it. Give them the pants that go with it because it's like, yo, like, you know what I mean? That's you demonstrating the spiritual child of God in you. This is all that he's trying to get us to understand. This is what it's all going to lead up to. His teachings is going to lead up to us. Is basically being spiritual, becoming spiritual children of God through how he would do it, what he would do, what Yahushua would do. Remember the key change. What would Yahushua do? This is what Yahushua would do. What Yahushua would do. This is basically what he would do. The only begotten spiritual child of God. The only begotten spiritual child of God. We become spiritual children through him, through what he would do, through trying to do what he would do, treating others how he would treat others. This is that. This is that. So every example we're going to see that's what he's teaching. Here's another example, verse 41. And whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. So whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. What does that mean? The flesh don't want to do that. You ask our flesh, yo, could you go do this for me? Can you go there for me? Can you take me over here? Can you drive me here? Or can you wake up early in the morning and take me here? Or can you you know what I mean? The flesh trying to look for a reason to get out. Oh, I got to do this, or I can't. I got to do this. I got to do that. I don't. The flesh doesn't feel like it, but it's the spiritual child of God. Is like, yo. Not only is the spiritual child of God going to do this, but he's going to ask, "What else do you need me to do? What else do you need me to do? Is there anything else you need me to do? What else can I do for you?" That's the spiritual child of God. That's not you. That's not the flesh. Flesh, like I don't feel like it. Flesh, like man, flesh is looking for reasons to tell you no, how they can't do it, how they can't do it. But you tap into your spiritual child of God and you demonstrate your spiritual child of God by doing it anyway and asking them, not only doing it, but asking them, what else can I do for you? What else can I do for you? Here's another example. Verse 42. Give to him who asks of you, and from him who wishes to borrow from you, do not turn away. Do not turn away. It's the flesh that, like, you ask them for something, like you ask them to borrow something. The flesh, like, man, I ain't got it, man. I ain't got it. Holla at me tomorrow. The flesh is looking for a way to tell you to holler at them tomorrow, or to explain how they ain't got it. You know what I mean? The flesh is like, it's just looking for a way to tell you no. But it's the spiritual child of God that's not concerned with money. It's not concerned with going the extra mile. The spiritual child of God, you tap into the spiritual child of God and demonstrate the spiritual child of God in you by saying, "Yeah, take you. Yeah, I'll let you borrow this. Pay me when you can. Here you are, and don't go tell nobody about it." That's the spiritual child of God within you. You're not going to tell nobody, "Oh, I'll let him borrow this or I'll let her borrow that." And we're going to learn that in the next chapter. That's how you demonstrate the spiritual child of God. How do we know this? We're getting to it. Here's another example. You heard that it was said, you should love your neighbor and hate your enemy. This is what the flesh does. Love those who love them, love their neighbors, love the people they know, love their family, love their friends. Hate their people that hate them. Hate the opposition, their ops. This is the flesh. This is each of our fleshes. But this is what the Messiah, the only begotten Son, says, to get our righteousness to exceed that of the scribes and the Pharisees in order for us to enter into the kingdom. This is what he says. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 44. This is what he says. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those cursing you, do good to those hating you, and pray for those insulting you and persecuting you. Why? Why does he say this? Why does he say this? Verse 45. So, this is the why. So that you become sons of your Father in the heavens, meaning spiritual children of your Father in the heavens. This is what it all leads up to. This is the moral of the whole this is the goal of his whole teaching. So that you become spiritual children of your Father in the heavens, because he makes his sun rise on the wicked and on the good, and sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous. So he needs to tell you apart. He needs to know if you're unrighteous or if you're righteous. He needs to know if you're wicked or good. He needs to know that you're either a child of man or a child of his. You're a child of flesh or a child of the supreme spirit. This is why he needs you to demonstrate this. He needs you to demonstrate this and tap into your spiritual child of God and love your enemies, because your flesh hates their enemies. He needs you to tap into your spiritual child of God and bless those cursing you, because it's the flesh that curses those who curse them. He needs you to tap into your spiritual child of God and do good to those hating you, because it's the flesh doing bad to those hating them. He needs you to tap into your spiritual child of God and pray for those insulting you and persecuting you, because it's the flesh not praying for those persecuting them and insulting them. They don't want nothing nice to happen for these people. He needs you to do this to separate yourself, to set yourself apart from the wicked, to set yourself apart from the flesh, the children of the flesh, the children of the enemy, the children of the world, to set yourself apart from the unrighteous. He needs you to set yourself apart. The only way you can set yourself apart is by doing this, showing this. Demonstrating your spiritual child of God by following the examples of the only spiritual child of God. Demonstrate your spiritual child of God. You're worthy of being called a spiritual child of God by following the examples of the only spiritual child of God. By following the examples of the only spiritual child of God, by following the demonstrations of the only spiritual child of God, by following the lessons of the only spiritual child of God, by following the teachings of the only spiritual child of God. Because he did it. He forgave those who who hated him. He loved those who hated him. He had compassion and mercy on those who hated him. Verse 46, for if you love those loving you, if you love those loving you, what reward have you? Are the tax collectors not doing the same too? Are the tax collectors not doing the same too? Are the children of the flesh not doing the same too? Are the children of the enemy not doing the same too? Are the children of the world not doing the same too? Are they not just loving those loving them? What makes you different? This is proof that he needs you to be different. This is proof that he needs to see a difference. This is proof. This is a clear indication that he needs to see, you know what I'm saying? You setting yourself apart from them because they're loving those who love them. Anybody in the flesh is doing that. To show yourself a child of God, a spiritual child of God, to show yourself to be a spiritual child of God, you got to love people who don't love you. And this is the strongest demonstration of showing yourself to be a spiritual child of God is loving those who don't love you. Loving those who don't love you. That's the strongest demonstration. And it comes down if we have to do that. It's as tough as it is for our flesh to do that. It's impossible for our flesh to do that. It's impossible for our flesh to do that. But it's everything we're able to we're able to do it in the spirit, the spiritual child of God, because it's not us, the flesh. It's actually God. It's enabling us to do it, to demonstrate it, to love those who don't love us. Verse 47. And if you greet your brothers only, what do you do more than others? Are the tax collectors not doing so too? Greeting their brothers only? Are the children of the flesh not doing so too? Greeting their brothers only? Their sisters only? People that look like them only? This is a clear indication that it's just not, you just we can't just be this way to our the people that look like us. This is a clear indication of this. It's not about being this way to just people who look like you. It's not a clearer indication than this verse right here. And if you greet your brothers, sisters only, what do you do more than others? Are the tax collectors not doing so too? He obviously needs you to see, he needs to see you greeting people who don't look like you, saying hello to people who don't look like you, being meek, friendly, and approachable to people who don't look like you, having open arms to people who don't look like you. So you may hear people pushing doctrine about, oh, he's talking about your neighbors, brother. He's talking about your brothers and sisters. He's not talking about different nationalities or races. What does this say? They must have missed this part. And if you greet your brothers only, what do you do more than others? They missed that part. They missed that part. Verse 48, therefore, be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. What does he mean by this? He's not asking your flesh to be perfect. Your flesh will forever be imperfect. Your flesh will forever be imperfect. So whenever you give it any glimpse of perfection, it's through spirit. It's through your spiritual child of God within you. He's asking you to perfect, demonstrating the spiritual child of God within you, the breath of life spirit within you. Perfect that, tapping into that and ruling over this flesh. Perfect denying the flesh. Perfect depriving the flesh of the evil it wants to do, of the evil it wants to say, of the wicked it wants to do, of the wicked it wants to say, which is slander, which is false witness, which is adulterous speaking, which is lying and plotting to steal and plotting to, do unclean things. Blasphemy. This is what the flesh wants to speak. He asking you to perfect the ability to tap into the breath of God, the breath of God in you, the breath of life spirit within you, the spiritual child of God within you. Perfect tapping into it to tell your flesh or deny your flesh of this, what it wants to say, what it wants to do, where it wants to go, and who it wants to be with. That's the perfection he's asking. He knows that the flesh is imperfect. As long as we're in these flesh, it's going to be imperfect. So don't even play yourself. Don't even pretend as if you this saint, because it's not you that's the saint. It's the spiritual child of God within you that you strive to perfect. It's not your flesh that's the saint. It's not your flesh that's perfect. It's not your flesh that's holier than thou or without sin and all of that mess that you want to portray, and put on, like, what I'm saying, that you may see, and you want it to be seen as the appearance. No, let it be known that this flesh is filthy. Let it be known that this flesh is filthy. That's your confession. That's your testimony. That's and let it be known that you do your best as the spiritual child of God within. Let it be known that you do your best as the spiritual child of God within to keep this flesh in check. Keep this flesh in check. Keep this flesh from not lashing out. Keep this flesh from not, you know, sinning against their neighbor with action and words. Come on, man. This is the best we can do, and this is all he's asking us to do. Is to remember. This is why it's important to remember his teachings. That's why it's important to remember his lessons. That's why it's important to keep top of mind his demonstrations. That's why it's important to keep top of mind his examples. That's why it's important to keep top of mind the instructions of his. That's why it's important to keep top of mind the instructions of his father, the commandments of his father. That's why it's important to keep top of mind the spiritual laws of his father's his spiritual government, in order for you to know how to demonstrate this spiritual child of God within you. Because if you're not considering all of that, then you're demonstrating the flesh. You're demonstrating your flesh. That's it. You're leaning on your own understanding. You're going about it your way. You're responding in your way. You're clapping back in your own way. You're getting revenge. You're getting back at others. You're you're not forgiving. You're not loving your enemies. You're not having compassion. You're not having mercy. You're not being humble. You're not humbling yourself. You're not being a peacemaker. You're not letting anyone borrow. You're not letting anyone have something that they already took from you. You're not letting anyone get over on you. And it's not about letting people get over on you. It's about not caring and handling them accordingly from there, without words or without action, but handling them accordingly. Being wise enough to not, put yourself in a predicament for them to do that again and again. And not caring, getting yourself to a point where you're not concerned with the material of things. Whereas though, like, whatever, man, you think you're getting over, but I'm allowing, because I'm a spiritual, I'm doing my best demonstration of the spiritual child of God within. Hey, man. Chapter 6, verse 1. Beware of doing your kind deeds before men, in order to be seen by them. Otherwise, you have no reward from your Father in the heavens. So he's telling you to beware of doing your people pleasing. Beware of trying to please the people by doing your good deeds for the poor and the homeless, so everybody can see it. Beware of doing this. This is what he's saying. It says verse 2. Thus, it says, otherwise you have no reward from your Father in the heavens. You have no reward for doing your deeds where, you know, to please the people. Taking care of the poor to please the people. Taking care of the homeless to please the people. Feeding the poor, giving them money, giving them clothes to feed to please the people. You have no reward from God for doing that. Verse 2. Thus, when you do a kind deed, do not sound a trumpet, meaning don't tell everybody. When you do a kind deed for the poor, the sick, the homeless, the prisoner, the naked, the thirsty, the sick, the fatherless, the widow, when you do a kind deed for these folks, don't tell everybody. You can't tell nobody. Don't sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites, do. So this is what the Messiah is called. This is who the Messiah is calling hypocrites. This is who the Messiah is calling hypocrites, as the hypocrites do in the congregations and in the streets, to be praised by men. To be praised by men. This is what the hypocrites do to please the people. This is what the hypocrites do. This is what the Messiah, the only begotten Son of God, said. This is what the hypocrites do to please the people. They tell everybody that they did something for the poor. They tell everybody that they fed the poor. They tell everybody that they gave something to the homeless. They tell everybody, they broadcast it. They get their cameras out and they post it, and they for likes, shares, and follows. And they get their cameras out and get reporters involved and news involved to please the people. They don't do this to please God. They're hypocrites. This is what the Messiah said. This is not what I'm saying. This is what the Messiah is saying. In order to be praised by men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward. Truly he says to us, they have their reward. Truly, truly, they have their reward. So you have to, you have to keep it to yourself, because their reward is they have pleased the people. That's their reward. They have pleased the people. You was people pleasing? All right, that's your reward. You have pleased the people. Oh, they're so generous. Oh, they're so kind. They so nice. That was so nice of them. That was so nice of them. That was so kind of them. That's the only reward you receive. You got what you came for. Verse 3. But when you do a kind deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Does this remind us of earlier where he's talking about, you know, if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off. What he's talking about is the same parable. Well, the same jargon used in this parable. The same terminology used in this parable. The same, you know, he's basically talking about your right hand man, your right hand woman, or your left hand man or your left hand woman. Your left hand, in this sense, it will be your left hand person, your person next to you, person close to you. Don't let your left hand, your person close to you, know what your right hand has done, your actual right hand has done. Don't let them know that you fed the poor. Don't let them know that you clothed the homeless. Don't let them know that you gave money to the poor and the homeless, the needy. Don't let them know. Do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Verse 4, so that your kind deed shall be in secret, in secret, in secret. So that your kind deed shall be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret shall himself reward you openly. And your Father who sees in secret shall himself reward you openly. So you will receive an open reward. Open reward meaning everyone would notice that you've been rewarded by the Most High. Everyone would know that you've been blessed by the Most High if you do these things in secret. If you do your deeds in secret, everyone will know that you've been blessed by the Most High, because it's an open reward. What's done in secret is rewarded in the open. What's done in secret, a deed done in secret receives an open reward. A deed done in secret receives an open reward. Verse 5, and when you pray, you should not be like the hypocrites. Who are the hypocrites? He's calling somebody else a hypocrite. What does these hypocrites do? For they love to pray standing in the congregations and on the corners of the streets, to be seen by men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward. They love to pray. These hypocrites love to pray, standing in the congregations, these places of worship, and on the corners of the streets, bowing themselves on the streets, to be seen, to be seen, to be seen by men, to people please, to please the people, right? He's calling these people hypocrites too. I say to you, truly I say to you, they have their reward. What is their reward? Oh, they're a prayer warrior. He's a prayer warrior. She's a prayer warrior. That's your reward. That's your reward. Verse 6, but you, meaning you who believe in him, you who follow him, you who follow the examples of his, you who follow the demonstrations of his, you who follow the teachings of his, you who follow the lessons of his. He's talking to you. But you, when you pray, go into your room and having shut your door, pray to your Father. Pray to your Father. He's saying, pray to your Father. Don't pray to him. Pray to your Father. Don't pray to him. Pray to your Father who is in the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret, see that you're praying in secret. Your Father who sees in secret, see that you're praying in secret, shall reward you openly. So here it is again. He's rewarding you openly. So you not only would you be rewarded openly for doing your deed in secret, but you'll be rewarded openly for praying in secret. You will be rewarded openly for praying in secret. Rewarded openly, that meaning everyone would see that you've been blessed by the Most High himself. Everyone will see that you've been rewarded by the Most High himself. This is how you receive open blessings, public rewards from the Most High himself. One, doing your deeds in secret, as far as to the needy, and praying in secret. Let's see if we have another one. But let's finish up with this one. Verse 7, and when praying, do not keep on babbling like the nations, for they think that they should be heard for their many words. So here it is, he's telling us to don't keep on babbling like the nations, like like others do. Don't keep on babbling, going on these long prayers and saying, you know, let alone doing it in public. So it's like in secret, don't even do this. Don't even do this in your private. Don't even go on these long prayers and, and thinking you will be heard for your many words in private. He's saying don't do this. And when praying, do not keep on babbling like the nations, for they think that they shall be heard for their many words. Verse 8, therefore, do not be like them. This is what he says. Therefore, do not be like them. This is the book of Matthew, by the way, chapter 6. This is the book of Matthew, by the way, chapter 6, verse, verse 8. Verse 8. Therefore, do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Notice that he said your Father knows. Because remember, he told you to pray to your Father. Notice that he said your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Notice that he says before you ask him, meaning before you pray to your Father. He's Therefore, do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Verse 9, this then is the way you should pray. This then is the way you should pray. So he's about to tell us how to pray. He's about to teach us how to pray. Our Father, who is in the heavens, let your name be set apart. Verse 10, let your reign come. Let your desire be done on earth as it is in heaven. Verse 11, give us today our daily bread. Verse 12, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Verse 13, do not lead us into trial, but deliver us from the wicked one. Because yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. This is what we pray in secret. This is what he asks us to, this is how he asks us to pray in secret. This is what he asks us to pray to his Father, to our Father, who becomes our Father through demonstrating the demonstrations of his, who becomes our Father, who by demonstrating the examples, following the examples of his, the only begotten Son. That's how he becomes our Father, and that's how we should pray to our Father, his Father, who becomes our Father if we do what the only begotten Son said to do. Follow what the only begotten Son left as an examples. Follow the demonstrations of the only begotten Son. And these are his demonstrations. These are his examples. These are his teachings. These are his lessons. This is the prayer that he left us to pray in secret to our Father. Not babbling and going on a longer prayer. He knows what we need before we ask him. Verse 14, for if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father shall also forgive you. Verse 15, but if you do not forgive men their trespasses, neither shall your Father forgive your trespasses. So you have to forgive in order to be forgiven. You have to forgive if you expect to be forgiven. You have to forgive if you expect to be forgiven. You have to forgive if you expect to be forgiven. If you can't bring yourself to forgive someone, you got something to address. You have something to address. That's something you need to figure out. You have to figure it out. At some point, while you still have the breath of God in your lungs, you have to figure that out. There's nothing more important to figure out but that. And forgiving doesn't mean reconciling. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciling. That doesn't mean you have to hang around and bring this person around and put yourself in danger, put yourself in risk. That doesn't mean that, but you have to forgive them from a distance. If they're a person that you have to keep at a distance, you have to forgive them via phone, via text, via message. You know what I mean? Via letter. This person may be in prison. You have to forgive them in order to be forgiven. And we it's much for us to be forgiven that we need to be forgiven of. Verse 16. And when you fast, do not be sad faced like the hypocrites. Oh, here's more hypocrites. Here's more hypocrisy, says the only begotten Son of God. This is who else he this is who this is who else he calls hypocrites. He calls these people hypocrites too. And when you fast, do not be sad faced like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces, so that they appear to be fasting to men. Appear so that they appear to be fasting to men. They disfigure their faces, so that they appear to be fasting to men. Truly I say to you, they have their reward. So they have their reward. Like, you told everybody that you were going on a fast. You told everybody that you're hungry and you fast. The reward is, oh, look how holy, or look how person of God this person is. He fasted. That's the only reward you would get, is the approval of the of people, the words of people, the compliments of people, of men, of mere people, just saying anything. Oh, that's so nice of you. Oh, that's so. This is the only reward you receive, yo. You should want more than that. You should want more. You should want actual reward from the Most High, and this is what He says. In order for you to get that, it says, "Truly, they have their reward." Verse 17. But you who follow the examples of the only begotten Son, you who follow the demonstrations of the exact demonstrations of the only begotten Son. You who follow the only begotten Son, the Messiah, period. You. This is what he says to you. But you, when you fast, this is what the Messiah is saying. This is what he's saying. Anoint your head and wash your face. Anoint your head and wash your face. 18, verse 18. So that you do not appear to men to be fasting. This is the purpose. This is the reason. So that you don't appear, so you're fasting, no one would know that you're fasting. This is obviously comes with you not telling nobody that you're fasting. This obviously comes with you not telling everyone that you're going on a fast, so that you do not appear to men that to be fasting, but to your Father who is in the secret place. That's the only one you should be appear to fasting. That's the only one who should know that you're fasting. It's the Father who is in the secret place. He's the only one that should know that you're fasting. And your Father who sees in secret shall reward you openly. Here's another reward. Here's another way to get rewarded openly. It's fasting in secret. So when you fast in secret, it's another way to be rewarded openly by the Most High Himself. So doing your good deeds for the needy in secret, rewarded openly by the Most High Himself. Praying in secret, praying to the Father in secret, rewarded openly by the Most High Himself. Fasting in secret, rewarded openly by the Most High Himself. You know what I mean? That's what comes. The healing, the answers to the prayer, to the answers to everything that you may need. He knows what you need before you ask, before you pray. He knows what you need. He knows what you need. He knows that you need this. He knows that you need that. He knows that you need healing. He knows that you need support. He knows that you need comfort. He knows that you need help. He knows that you need whatever it is that you need before you ask. And this is what comes in that open reward. This is what comes in that open reward. When you do your deed for the needy in secret, when you pray in secret, to him in secret, and fast in secret. Verse 19. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and the rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth. There's no getting around it. That means don't be saving up all this money. It's one thing to invest all this money into assets like property, like farm animals, like seeds, crop assets like businesses to put, to for people to be employed and work and make a living for themselves. It's one thing to do that, but it's another thing you laying up treasures. If you just laying up treasures and it's not helping anybody, you laying up treasures is not helping no one, not even yourself. Saving a bunch of money is not helping no one, not even yourself. Investing in assets, investing in everything I just named, property, food, shelter, business for people to work, farming. That's that's helping yourself and helping people, helping others. And that's the whole purpose of it, to be able to do your deeds in secret. If you're just laying up treasures on earth, this is what's happening. If you're laying up treasures on earth where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, this is what it's going to lead to. You're tempting thieves to want to steal it. You're tempting thieves to want to steal it. You're tempting the needy to want to take it, to want to figure out how to get to it. You're putting yourself at risk. And the least of the risk is, yeah, the moth and the rust, but the thieves is trying to break in and steal. The thieves are trying to break in and steal. The thieves are they plotting to to take it electronically, or they're plotting to take it physically. So this is what comes with laying up treasures on earth and saving all this money up. You having all this money saved. Oh yeah, this is what the thieves is thinking. Oh yeah, where at? Oh yeah, how can I hack in and steal it? How can I break in and steal it? Whether it's breaking into your digital account or breaking into your actual safe. This is what comes with you saving up. This is the consequences of saving up all this money, yo. This is the consequence of it. You know what I mean? This is the consequence of it. So you want to yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to invest. That's the better that's the biblical, you know, that's the biblical option. Invest your rewards from the most high. If you're rewarded with treasure, invest it. Invest it into property. Put a roof over your head. Put a roof over others' heads. Put a roof over those who are in need. Invest in property. Invest in transportation. Get get yourself from A to B. Get others from A to B. Invest in animals, farm animals. Feed others. Feed yourself. Feed your family. Feed your friends. Feed others and needy. Invest in, you know, invest in businesses. So so you can 6 days you can labor, and the seventh you rest. And 6 days others can labor and take care of themselves. Take care of their family. You know what I mean? Invest. Investing it will always be better than saving in biblically and worldly. But it has to be smart investment. It doesn't get any smarter than what I just listed. You can't go wrong with investing in properties. That will always be a roof over someone's head. Someone will always need a roof over their heads. Can't go wrong with transportation. That will always be in need. As long as, you know what I mean, cars are carring. Can't go wrong with farm animals. That will always be food. That will always be food for you. Can't go wrong with crops, seeds. That will always be food and healing for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Medicine, medication. Forgive that word. I don't know how the platform is going to, see that, but you know what I mean. Holistic. That will always be holistic for you. Uh, yeah. Businesses. That will always but you gotta be smart when it comes to businesses, because that could be a bad investment. You have to make sure it's a business that involves your crops. You have to make sure it's a business that involves your farm animals. You have to make, because that's the ancient business that will always be in business. Crops and farm animals. That's the ancient wealth and the ancient business that will always be. That was the beginning. That's where it started. Farm animals, crops, grain, seeds, all that, fruits, vegetables, herbs, spices, farm animals. That's the that was the wealth from in the beginning, and that will always be the wealth. That's the investment in the beginning, and that will always. Listen, man. If you don't know, get to know. If you don't know, get to know. That will always be it. That will always be in. That will always be a business. It always has and always will be. And it might just go back to that being the only business when all else go to crap. If the prophecies play out to everything going to crap. As far as digital. We can't eat electronics. So that will always be a business. We're not, even though we may seem robotic, we're not robots. We need actual food from earth, from God. What he considers food. So yeah, don't lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal. Verse 20, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. Thief can't break in and steal heavenly rewards, which is what you put in your heavenly account through your blessings, through doing your deeds in secret, praying in secret, and fasting in secret. They can't touch that. Not only can they not touch that, they can't touch property as well. You can't, thieves can't pick up property and take it, steal it. Now, government is another thing, but it's if you do what you're supposed to do, you should be able to keep your property. Can't steal that. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, so if you blessed, if you adding treasures to your heavenly account by doing your deeds in secret and praying in secret and fasting in secret, you're gonna always have. You're gonna always you're gonna replace whatever's you know, someone takes, if the Most High even allows someone to take something from you. Because if you're doing what you doing what you're supposed to do according to His instruction in the examples of His Son, you shouldn't have to worry about any of that. You shouldn't have to worry about any of that. Verse 20, verse 21, for where your treasure is, there your heart shall be also. So if your treasure is on earth, that's where your heart is going to be at. And somebody can break your heart if they take where your treasure is. You open, if you open your app and you see that somebody cleaned your bank account out, and that's where your heart is. Hey, listen, I get it, man. That's where my that's where my that's where my reliability, as far as my flesh reliability, relies on. So I will understand. I would be heartbroken as well. But I'm that's not my I understand money, and I don't, I'm not a fan of money. Even though I understand we need you need money to, operate in this system, in this, in the system of world, and world governments. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of money at all. I'm not a lover of money, and I hate that it's required. I hate that it's required. It's not needed, it's just required. It's a requirement by those who distribute it. And it's to keep people, I get it, it's to keep people busy, keep 6 days you labor. This is the curses that we put on our that was put on us through Adam. Is to work. Is and so these are ancient reasons. These are ancient reasons that we just have to, we just have to deal with. But like, that's not where my heart is. And if your heart is if your heart is in your bank account, then you setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up to be heartbroken if that's where your heart is. If your heart is in your bank account, you setting yourself up to be heartbroken. That's why your heart should be in, your treasure. Your treasure should be in the heavens. Lay up treasures for yourself in the heavens. Because if you're laying up treasures for yourself in your heart, I mean on earth, and your heart is where your treasure is, then you know someone somehow is going to get to that treasure on earth. They're going to figure it out. But they can't figure out, ain't no way they could get to that treasure in heaven. They can't get to that treasure in heaven. Can't get to that. So have your heart, let that be where your treasure, let that be where your heart is in heaven. Is as far as like doing your deeds in secret, praying in secret and fasting in secret, and treating others how the only begotten son would treat them. Treating others how the only begotten son would treat them. That's how you lay up treasures in heaven, and where your heart should be, and where your heart would be. And you don't have to worry about thieves breaking in and stealing. But you surely have to worry about thieves breaking in and stealing, because that's all you will be focused on. To the point you won't be able to focus on nothing else. You will be focused on trying to protect that bank account, and and looking at it every, hour on an hour, checking it every hour on an hour, trying to figure out how to add to it, trying to figure out how to protect it, trying to figure it out, how to protect it from everybody. You consumed. You be consumed. And this is what he's the Messiah is going to, this is what he's explaining in his next these next verses. For for where your treasure is, there your heart shall be also. Verse 22. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. So if your body is good, I'm sorry, if your eye is good, all your body should enlighten. So if your eye is good, your eye is basically on what it takes to add to your heavenly account. What it takes to add to the treasure in heaven that you saving up in heaven, that you laying up in heaven. You laying up in the kingdom. So your eye is on adding to your kingdom account if your eye is good. And what it takes to add to your heavenly account is doing your deeds in secret, doing your deeds for the needy in secret, praying in secret, fasting in secret, and following the examples and demonstrations of the only begotten Son. That's how your eye is good. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. Verse 23. But if your eye is evil, all your body shall be darkened. If then the light that is within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? So if your eye is evil, which is your eye is on your earthly account and protecting your earthly account and adding to your earthly account, your savings account, your treasure, you laying up treasure on earth. If your eye is on laying up treasures on earth, then it's dark. It's going to be darkened because you're just focused on adding to this count and not helping nobody with that account. You're not helping nobody by adding or not taking from it. You're not helping yourself or nobody with by doing that. You're just having bragging rights. You're just adding to it for bragging rights. You're just saving for bragging rights. Just to say you have millions, just to say you have billions for bragging rights. It's not helping you because in the with the snap of a spiritual finger of the supreme spirit of God, he can take it all away. He could devastate you and wipe it clean. Verse 24, no one is able to serve two masters, for either he shall hate the one and love the other, or else he should cleave to the one and despise the other. You are not able to serve Elohim and Mammon. You are not able to serve God and money. You are not able to serve God and money, meaning, it's going to be a conflict of interest. You're going to hate the one and love the other. If you're loving, if you love God, you're going to use the money to serve God's people in secret. But if you serve God, you're going to use the money to serve God's people in secret. But if you're serving money, you're not going to use the money to serve God's people. You're going to hate the idea of using the money to serve God's people. If you serving money, you're saving money. Serving money, you're saving money. Saving money, you're serving money. You're serving it by adding to it and watching this idol grow, watching this idol of yours grow, watching this God of yours grow in money. You're watching it grow, and you don't want nothing to happen to it. Like I said, it's the biblical way is to invest that money and have wealth through your investments. That's true wealth is through your possessions, your actual possessions. Wealth is not in your savings account. That's not that is not that's not wealth at all. Wealth is in ancient wealth is in possession, what you own, property. and farm animals, crops, businesses. That's what you that's true wealth. So if you're saving, you're serving money, you're serving money, you're saving money. You're not looking to invest that money, and you're just trying to add to it. It's a conflict of interest. You're going to hate serving the people with that money because you don't want to take from that money. You don't want to take from that savings. And you're going to hate saving money because if you want to serve God with the money, you're going to hate saving money. So one is going to hate the other is going to hate the one. One is going to hate the other, and the other is going to hate one. And when I say what I mean by world wealth, true world wealth, ancient wealth, world wealth is in property and farm animals. Just like this biblical wealth. That's what wealth was known as in these writings. Biblical wealth is what people had, the cattle people had, the grain people had. Joseph with the grain, Abraham with his cattle, properties, field, the fields that people sold to Abraham and so on and so on. This is the world wealth. This is the world wealth. This is biblical wealth. This is permissible. This is what you should be doing with that while you're here. But more importantly, yes, the heavenly account is more and more wealth than world wealth. Spiritual wealth is more wealth than world wealth because at the end of the day, world wealth has an expiration date. Everything here has an expiration date. Spiritual wealth does not have an expiration date. It will be there if you can make it there to see it. The whole goal is to make it there to see it. The whole goal is to tap into the spiritual child of God within you to become to extend your stay, in the spiritual realm that doesn't have an expiration date. That's the whole idea, the whole goal, and this is the whole teaching of the teacher. Verse 25, because of this, I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you should eat or drink, or about your body, what you should put on it. Is not life more than the food and the body more than the clothing? Because of this, this is because of this. He's like, yo, don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. It's not life more than food. What he means is life as in the spirit, the spiritual child, the spirit that needs to extend its stay in the spirit realm. That's more than food. That's more than a body. Obviously, more than the clothing. Life itself is spirit. Life itself is spirit. Think of that. Think about that. Life itself is ruwaku, is spiritual. Consciousness is spiritual. Voice, you can't see it, but you hear it. Spiritual. Thought, you can't, no one else can see it but you. Envision, dream, no one else can see it but you. That's spiritual. Consciousness. Life itself is spiritual. So that's life. That's all connected. That's what that's it's more that's what he means by this. Is not life more than food and the body more than clothing? Because it's the actual superpowers that you have that are just taken for granted. The superpowers of foresight, insight, intuition, envision, revelation, dream, spiritual wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. What you do with that is more than life. Is what you do with that is more than food, the body, and the clothing. Everything else is going to come when you have that and exercise all of the. Let's read. Verse 26. Look at the birds of the heaven, for they neither sow nor reap nor gather into the storehouses. Yet your heavenly Father does feed them. Are you not worth more than they? Are you not worth more than they? Worth more than sparrows, and they don't do work for what they have, but their Father feeds them. The Father makes sure that they eat. They don't have to work and toil and run around like chickens with their head off. You know what I mean? They don't have to do all that for their food. The Father makes sure that they're fed. They don't run around like us. They don't worry about what they're going to eat, what they're going to wear, and what they're going to, you know what I'm saying? They're not doing that. They're not doing the most for what the Father know that they need. And we should be the same way. He's like, are you not worth more than that? Like I got them, why wouldn't I have you? I make sure they eat. Why wouldn't I make sure you eat? Verse 27. And which of you by worrying is able to add 1 cubit to his lifespan? Which of you by worrying is going to add 1 day to your life, 1 week to your life, 1 month to your life, 1 year to your life by worrying? What control do you have over that? It's no point to worry. If you doing what I asked you to do, you will have. If you doing what I asked you to do, what my son left as an example, demonstrations, you will have. If you following my instructions, guarding my commands, obeying my spiritual government, you will have. 6 days you labor, seventh you rest. That's part of my instruction. You will have. And that's only you only have to do that because it's like this was the curse of Adam to work till the land. Verse 28. So why do you worry about clothing? Note well the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. So the flowers of the field, they don't do no work, but yet they dress the best. They're the best dressed. Flowers of the field are the best dressed. Their petals are the most beautiful. They got the best clothes. This is what he's saying. Note well the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Verse 29. And I say to you, even Solomon, in all his glory, in all his esteem, was not dressed like one of these. Even Solomon could not outdress the flowers. And Solomon had was the richest in his time, the wisest in his time, and the richest in his time. And even he couldn't outdress the flowers. But the flowers didn't have to do nothing for how they dress, to have clothing, to have clothes, to have petals, to be beautiful, to look beautiful. But if Elohim so clothe the grass of the field, which exists today and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, how much more you, O you of little belief? So if he clothed the flowers, why wouldn't he clothe us? If he fed the birds, why wouldn't he feed us? If he clothed the flowers, why wouldn't he clothe us? He knows that we need it. How much more you, O you of little belief, worrying about what you're going to wear? Verse 31, do not worry then, saying, what should we eat? Or what should we drink? Or what should we wear? Verse 32, for all these the nations seek for, and your heavenly Father knows that you need all these. Your heavenly Father knows that you need all these. Your heavenly Father knows that you need all these. This is what the nations, this is what others seek for. Just let them seek for that. Let them be worried about that because they don't trust in me. They don't acknowledge me. They don't even believe in me. This is why they're running around trying to figure out what they're going to wear, what they're going to eat, what they're going to drink. But since you believe and since you trust, you don't got those worries. You don't got those. You don't have to worry about all that because you're doing what I asked you to do. So that's nothing you have. How do we know? It's because he's doing what he asked you to do. This is what he's about to say. For all these the nations seek for, and your heavenly Father knows that you need all these. Verse 33, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these shall be added to you. All these shall be added to you. How will all these be added to you? By seeking first the kingdom of God. What is the kingdom of God? His only begotten Son. The demonstrations of his only begotten Son. The lessons of his only begotten Son. The examples of his only begotten Son. The teachings of his only begotten Son. That's the kingdom of God. That's the only way you're going to get to the kingdom of God is through his only begotten Son. So seek first his only begotten Son. And there's more. And his righteousness. What is his righteousness? We went over this. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25 to 24. And his righteousness, guarding his commands. Guarding his commands. So guarding his commands is his righteousness, and following the demonstrations, lessons, teachings, and examples of his only begotten Son is his kingdom. Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. Seek first his Son and how his Son and what his Son left as an examples, and his righteousness being in his guarding his commands. And all of this will be added to you. Everything that you need, everything you need to eat, it'll be added to you. You need clothes, it'll be added to you. Part of those commands that you have to guard is 6 days you labor and the seventh you rest. It'll be added to you. You need clothes, you need food, you need water, it'll be added to you. Just seek the ways of my Son first and guard my commands. Part of my commands is labor for 6 days. Not lazy for 6 days, labor for 6 days. Not lazy for 6 days, labor for 6 days. Verse 34, do not then worry about tomorrow, For tomorrow shall have its own worries. Each day has enough evil of itself. Each day has enough evil of itself. Don't worry about tomorrow. You got to get through today. You got to get through this hour. Can't worry about tomorrow. You got to get through this hour. Each day has enough evil. It's enough evil in this hour. It's enough evil in this day, in this evening, in this afternoon, in this night. There's enough evil in this, in today. We got to get through that before we can worry about tomorrow. Each day has enough evil of itself. Chapter 7, verse 1. Do not judge, lest you be judged. Do not judge, lest you be judged. Do not judge, lest you be judged. What does he mean by this? Verse 2. For with what judgment you judge, you should be judged. And with the same measure you use, it should be measured to you. What does he mean by this? Let's see. Verse 3. And why do you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but do not notice the plank in your own eye? Oh, this is what he means by this. So why are you looking at what somebody else is doing or not doing according to the writings, according to instructions of God, according to the examples of his only begotten son? Why are you looking at what someone else is not doing or not doing, but not notice what you're not doing, what you're doing, and what you're not doing, what you yourself is not doing? Do not notice what you yourself is doing or you yourself is not doing. This is what he's telling you not to be doing. Verse 4. How do we know? Verse 4. Oh, how is it that you say to your brother, let me remove the splinter out of your eye, and see a plank is in your own eye? Plank is in your own eye. How can we say, yo, you got something going on there, when we got something going on with ourselves? How? Let's keep reading. Verse 5. Hypocrite. Oh man. So here's another. There's another people he calls hypocrites. This is another definition of his. This is another one of his definitions of a hypocrite. This is the Messiah. This is the only begotten Son. This is who else he calls a hypocrite. Hypocrite, which most people know this as the actual hypocrite, but people didn't know that he called people who pray in public hypocrites. People didn't know that he called people who broadcast, doing their deeds for the needy in public hypocrites. People didn't know people. He called people who fast for everybody to know. He called them hypocrites. People didn't know that was a definition of a form of hypocrisy as well. But this is the one everyone is they're familiar with. Hypocrite. First remove the plank from your own eye, and then you should see clearly. And then you should see clearly to remove the splinter out of your brother's eye. So you got to remove. He's not saying that you can't come judge your brother. That's only then is when you can come help somebody. Not even judge them, but help someone, point out what they got going on, or what they have going on, or what they don't have going on. That's only then you can do that. That's the only time you could do that, is when you make sure you ain't got nothing going on. Make sure that you got all yours in order. Your I's is dotted and your T's is crossed according to the instructions of God, according to the examples of his only begotten son. You make sure all that is on point, then you can come to them and like, yo, I made sure all of this was on point with myself. I made sure all this was on point with myself. I had to go through all this with myself. This is what I did. I made these adjustments. So now I come to you and show you, like, all right, here's what this says that we should improve in and what we should be doing. This is what the Messiah says we should be doing. This is what the Messiah should be doing, says we should be doing this, here, that, and the third. I struggled with this before. I see you struggling with it as well. This is what he's asking us for us to do. This is what he's asking us to go about. Only then you can go about it that way. Then and only then you can go about you can approach somebody like that. And that's the only appropriate way to approach them, is to let them know what you went through and what you adjusted. Let it be known and confess what you had to adjust, what you had to fix, the plank that you had to pluck out of your eye. You have to confess that so that they know and trust that they can trust that you, all right, I can trust that you know what I mean, can help me with this because you humble enough to tell me about your plank and where you were wrong and what you had to, do to get it right. Then and only then it's permissible for you to judge, you know, biblically, assess someone in order to help, not judge to bring somebody down, judge to help. Judge amongst yourselves, to judge just between you two, to help, to assess what it is, what the issue is according to what is written, what the issue is according to what's instructed, what the issue is according to what's what was left as an example by the only begotten son. According to that, not by what you think is wrong, only according to what is written that is wrong. Only according to what is written we should be doing or shouldn't be doing. Not what you think, not what you think your political correct thinking should be. Oh, you shouldn't say that. Where does it say that? Oh, you shouldn't do that. Where does it say not to do that? It has to be from the mouth of the Most High or his only begotten son. If not, don't you can miss me with it. You can miss me with it. Because that's the only people you're required to follow and obey and follow their examples and instructions and teachings. No one else. Not even disciples after him, unless it's according to what he said. No ancient brother or sister, or no past brother and sister, no present brother and sister. Him. And if they're doing what he said to do, then cool. But if they're saying to do something that he didn't say to do or say not to do, I'm that's where we got issues. That's where we got a misunderstanding. That's where we're going to have to agree to disagree. That's where we go one way and I go the other. We go our separate ways. I love you. You know what I mean? I gotta love you. I gotta forgive you. I gotta have mercy on you. I gotta have compassion on you. But we're gonna see it differently. I follow the only begotten Son of God and God Himself. I obey the spiritual government of God Himself. and his only begotten son, the examples his only begotten son left. The demonstrations his only begotten son left. The teachings his only begotten son left. The lessons his only begotten son left, and they're all here. They're all here. They're all listed. So yeah. Verse 6, do not give what is set apart to the dogs, nor throw your pearls before the pigs, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces. So the dogs are biblically known as the unbelievers. Unbelievers, that's what the Bible considers dogs, unbelievers. Pigs are considered unclean. The people who are unclean. People who are unclean is what the pigs are, is biblically are biblical pigs. This is that's what he's referring to. Unbelievers and unclean. So it's like, do not give what is set apart to the unbeliever, nor throw your pearls before the unclean, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. Because this is what they're going to do. The people who are unbelievers and people who are unclean, they're devoted, unclean people. They're devoted unbelievers. They're going to make a mockery of what you're saying to them. You sharing these teachings, sharing these lessons, sharing these demonstrations, sharing these um demonstrations, these examples, and the instructions of God. You sharing this with them, they're going to make a mockery of it and trample it under their feet. They're going to make fun of it. They're going to make a mockery of it. And some will go as far as to try to tear you to pieces by trying to put hands on you. So it's no point. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy to share with someone that's devoted. If it's placed on, if they're devoted unbelievers and devoted unclean, let them continue to, you know, if it's put on their heart to gravitate to you, to hear what you have to say, that's when they'll hear it. If it's put on their heart to, gravitate to you and hear the words of God, that's when they'll hear it. They have to be moved to come hear it. You don't force it down somebody's ear. Don't force it down the unbeliever's ear. Don't force it down the unclean person's ear. It is no, because you're setting yourself up to be mocked, made fun of, and worst of all, hands put on you, hands and feet put on you. Verse 7, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be open to you. What does he mean by this? Verse 8, for everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds. And to him who knocks, it shall be open. What does he mean by this? Can you ask for anything? Can you knock for anything? Can you seek for anything? Let's see. Verse 9, or is there a man among you, if his son asks for bread, that's one clue. Bread, food. She'll give him a stone. That's another clue. Stone. Bread versus stone. Let's keep reading. Verse 10. Or if he asks for fish, that's another clue. Fish, food. Shall he give him a snake? Snake is another clue. Fish versus snake. Verse 11. If you then, being wicked, know how to give good gifts, that's another clue. Good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father who is in the heaven give what is good? That's a clue. What is good to those who ask him? What is good to those who ask him? Therefore, this is it's what is good. You can't ask for something that's bad for you. You can't ask something that's bad for your spiritual child of God. You got to ask for something that's good for your spiritual child of God. It could be food, nourishment. It could be shelter. It could be transportation, something what you need, or whatever the case may be, clothing. It can't be, oh, I need $1 million. Oh, I want this, that, and the third. Something that's going to be good for the flesh, like to make you a better worldly, person in the flesh. Nah, that's not what you can seek, knock, and ask for. You can seek, knock, and ask for what is good. Example, fish. Example, food. Example, bread. Example, food. You can't ask for a stone. He's not going to give you a stone so you can go upside your own head with. He's not going to give you a snake so it's going to bite you in the end. It's going to come back and bite you. He's not going to give you a stone for you to stumble over. It's not going to give you that. Verse 11. Verse 12. Therefore, whatever you wish men to do to you, do also to them. For this is the Torah and the prophets. How is this the Torah and the prophets? How is this in instructions of God and the prophecies of the prophets of God? Is whatever you wish men to do to you, do also to them? How is that the instructions of God? Because the instructions of God is that. The instructions of God instructs you how to do to others what you want done to you. You want others, you want to respect, you want to be honored as a parent, and you want your parents to be honored. So honor other people's parents. Honor your own parents and honor other people's parents. Honor your heavenly Father as the parent. You don't want people to unalive you, so don't unalive others. You don't want people to uh commit adultery towards you and sleep with your spouse, so don't sleep with nobody else's spouse. You don't want others to false witness against you, so don't false witness against others. You don't want others to steal from you, so don't steal from others. You don't want others to covet what you have, so don't covet what they have. This is why this covers this sums up the instructions of God. And what the prophecies have to do with this? The prophecies have to do with this because that's what the prophecies is leading to. The prophecies is leading to getting rid of everyone who doesn't want to follow the instructions of God and treat others how they would want to be treated. Do unto others how they would want done to them. That's what the prophecies is leading to. Is to get rid of everybody who refuses to do that. To get rid of everyone who refuses to treat others how they want to be treated, do unto others how they want to be done, that they want done to them. That's what the prophets, that's what all is we see is taking place. That's what's taking place. That's what every prophecy will be fulfilled with that, with the objection of that, with that being the object of with that being the goal. For it be for so there's nobody but people who wants to do to others what they want done to them. That's the only people that's around. That's why this is the Torah. This is what sums up the Torah and the prophets. This is the book of Matthew, by the way, chapter 7, verse 12. Therefore, whatever you wish men to do to you, do also to them. For this is the Torah, meaning the instructions of God, and the prophets, meaning the prophecies of the prophets of God. Verse 13, enter in through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction. And there are many who enter in through it. There are many who don't want to do all that we just learned, all that was just taught to us from chapter 5 to where we are now. There are many who don't want to do, there are many who want to do the opposite of this. There are many who are doing the opposite of this. There are many who are in opposition of this, everything that we just was taught from chapter 5 to where we are now in chapter 7 in the book of Matthew. This is why the way is broad that leads to destruction, because many will go through it, many will enter it. And the way is broad and leads to destruction, and there are many who enter in through it. Verse 14, because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to life, and there are few who find it. There are few who want to love their enemies. That's why there are the few who find it. That's why the way is narrow, because there are few who wants to love their enemies. There are few who wants to who can bring themselves to forgive. There are few who can bring themselves to not lay up treasures for themselves on earth. There are few who are willing to turn the other cheek and not get their eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. There are few who can't stop judging others and can't stop, you know what I'm saying, mocking, making fun of others, and whatever the case, slandering and false witnessing and being angry with their brother or sister for no reason. There are few that can't humble themselves. I mean, I'm saying there are few who are able to humble themselves. There are few who are able to do these things. There are few who are able to do all of these, what's been taught to us, the teachings that we've just read from chapter 5 to where we are in chapter 7. There are few. Because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, meaning afflicted. It's hard for the flesh to do this. It's hard for the flesh to do this. So that's why the way is afflicted. Is afflicted for the flesh to do this. Is affliction, like it literally hurts to do this. It literally hurts the flesh to be a peacemaker, to make peace with your enemy. It hurts the flesh to do this. Hurts the pride of the flesh. It hurts the ego of the flesh. It hurts it. That's why it's affliction. It afflicts the flesh. That's why few will be able to do it. Few will be willing to do it. The idea of doing it it hurts. Just the thought of doing it, like it hurts people. I'm not doing that. I ain't saying that. I'm not making peace. I don't love them. I don't like them. Verse verse 15, but beware of the false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are savage wolves. Inwardly they come to you. They come to you in sheep's clothing with the suits and the ties and the head garments and the wraps and all that, the Middle Eastern, attire. But inwardly, they are savage wolves, because they're not willing to do any of what the Messiah taught, any of these teachings from chapter 5 of Matthew to chapter 7. They're in opposition of everything. First of all, they're in opposition of loving their enemies, and they don't believe that they have to love people that don't love them. They don't believe that they got to greet they have to greet people that don't look like them. They don't believe that they have to love their enemies. They don't believe that they have to forgive people. They don't believe that they have to pray in secret, fast in secret, and do their good deeds in secret. They don't believe they don't believe that they have to be humble. They don't believe that they shouldn't be laying up treasures on the earth. They don't believe this. So they're savage wolves. And we're talking about your pastors, your preachers, your ministers, your so-called, you know, rabbis and stuff, so on and so on, so on and so forth. They're savage wolves. Verse 16, by their fruit you should know them. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Verse 17. So every good tree yields good fruit, but a rotten tree yields wicked fruit. Rotten tree yields wicked fruit. What is this wicked fruit? Everything that's in opposition of these teachings. Verse 19. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Every tree that is not, every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Is this not what John said? John the Baptist said in the beginning of Matthew's? Said the exact words. Verse 20. So then, by their fruit you should know them. What is the fruit? Everything that he's taught from chapter 5 to chapter 7 in the book of Matthews is the fruit. Don't let nobody tell you any different. Don't let nobody tell you different. His demonstrations is the fruit. His examples is the fruit. His teachings is the fruit. His lessons is the fruit. The instructions of his father is the fruit. The instructions of his father is the fruit. All of that is the fruit. So if you're in opposition of it and you think that it's done away with, and you think that, here's what he has to say. Not everyone who says to me, not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of the heavens, but he who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens. He who is doing the desire of my Father in the heavens. So not everyone who says to him when he returns, Master, Master, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of the heavens, but he who is doing the desire of his Father in the heavens. That's like that's like you being a kid trying to invite, your bad friend, your friend that doesn't follow the instructions of your father's household, trying to invite them over. He's not invited over because he doesn't follow the instructions of your father. Your father's gonna say, "Yo, no, he does. He last time he was here, he was stealing. Last time he was here, he didn't honor your parents. Last time he was here, you know what I'm saying? He was lying. Last time he or she was here, like that's what they did. So they're not invited into the kingdom. They're not invited over. That's no different from his father. You have to follow the instructions of his father in order for you to be allowed in the kingdom of his father. He takes it a step further. This is what he's saying when he returns. Many shall say to me in that day, meaning in that day that he returns. This is not what he's talking about in that day. Many shall say to me in that day, Master, Master, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name? In what they thought was the name? And cast out demons in your name, what they thought was the name? And done many mighty works in your name, what they thought was the name? Verse 23. And then I shall declare to them. This is what he's going to declare to them in that day when he returns. I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Why would he call you a person who worked lawlessness? Obviously, because you disregard the spiritual laws of his father and his father's spiritual government. You say that the spiritual laws of his father's government is done away with. You're teaching that. You're preaching that. That's your message. That's your sermon. Is that the spiritual laws of his father's government is done away with. So this is what he's going to say in that day when he returns. And then I should declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. This is the book of Matthew, by the way, chapter 7, verse 23. Verse 24. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine, these words of his, no one else's, and does them, shall be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. Verse 25, and the rain came down, and the floods came, and the wind blew, and beat on that house, and it did not fall, for it was founded on the rock, his words. That's the rock. His words is the rock. His assembly, those who gather in his name, is the rock, the assembly. It wasn't Peter, which is the rock. It's his assembly. It's those who believe that he's the Messiah and the only begotten Son of God, and believe his word. His words himself and his existence itself is the rock. Verse 26, and everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them shall be like the foolish man who built his house on the sand. Verse 27, and the rain came down and the floods came and the wind blew and they beat on that house and it fell, and great was its fall. So if you do not, when you hear the words of his and do not do them, you hear all the words that he taught us from chapter 5 of Matthew to chapter 7 of Matthew and don't do them, yeah, your house, prepare for your house to fall. Prepare for your ministry to fall. Prepare for your sermons to fall and your account to fall, your platform to fall. Wherever it is that you think that you preach, wherever it is that you think that you minister, wherever it is that you think that you share the word. If it's not the words of his, prepare for it to, yeah, crumble. Like the cookie, right? Yeah. Verse 28. And it came to be when Yahushua had ended these words. So he finally ended these words that started in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 2. He's finally ending these words in chapter 7 of Matthew's verse 28. And it came to be when Yahushua had ended these words that the people were astonished at his teachings. These were his teachings. These were his teachings that begun in chapter 5, verse 2. They didn't stop until where we are now in chapter 7, verse 28. He introduced, it was an introduction that these were his teachings in chapter 5, verse 2. Remember, that was the introduction to the teachings. And they didn't stop, he didn't stop teaching until where we are now in chapter 7, verse 28 in Matthew's. These were his teachings that they're astonished at. Verse 29, for he was teaching them as one possessing authority and not as the scribes. So this was different. This wasn't as the scribe. This was different. He was teaching with authority. That could that completes the Sabbath Torah teaching reading of this Sabbath, this Shabbat. Hallelujah, hallelujah, praise Yah, may all glory be to Yah, Yahuwah Shabbat, Yahuwah Almighty, Yahuwah Most High, Yahuwah El Shaddai. Thank you, Yahuwah. Thank you, Yahushua. Thank Yahushua HaMashiach, Son of Yah, the Mashiach, the Messiah. It was you. It was you who said that when two or three are gathered in your name, you are there, you are in our midst, you are amongst us, you are with us. It's documented, it is written, it is recorded. So with that being said and that being acknowledged, that being known, Master Yahushua HaMashiach, Son of Yah, the Messiah, I ask that you help us, those who are gathering your name, heal from whatever it is that we need healing from, whatever it is our loved ones need healing from, whatever it is that the needy, those who are need healing from, our family and our friends, or those who are strangers. Master Yahushua HaMashiach, Son of Yah, Mashiach, since we are gathering your name, I ask that you help those who need comfort in whatever it is they need comfort in, whatever it is we need comfort from. Master Yahushua HaMashiach, Son of Yah, since you are in our midst, I ask that you help those who are gathering your name find relief, have relief in whatever it is that we need to find relief in and find relief from. Master Yahushua HaMashiach, Son of Yah, the Mashiach, the Messiah, since you are in our midst, I ask that you help. I ask that you help those who are gathering in your name follow your examples. Get better at following your examples, following your demonstrations, following your teachings, following your lessons, following the instructions of your Father, obeying the spiritual laws of your Father's government, guarding the commands of your Father, heeding the spiritual knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of your Father that He spoke to His kings like David and Solomon. Watching the prophecies, being watchmen of the prophecies that were spoken through the prophets of your Father. Being watchmen and watching them be fulfilled. Help us treat each other. Help us forgive each other. Help us humble ourselves, each individual selves. Help us not judge each other, but judge ourselves first before we judge to help each other. Only to help each other. Only judge to assess, to help. Help us have compassion on each other. Forgive each other. Love our enemies. Love our enemies. Help us. Help us deny our flesh of hating our enemies. Help us forgive in order to be forgiven. Help us deny our flesh from not forgiving. Help us help us help us mourn for others other than our family and friends. Help us mourn for those who are losing their lives, who have lost their lives, and who have lost loved ones, and all that is going on in the world. Help us mourn for them. Have empathy on them, even though we don't know them, even though they're strangers. Help us have compassion, mercy on others, on each other. Help us be peacemakers so that we become spiritual children of yours. Help us be peacemakers. Help us be friendly, meek, approachable. Help us greet each other, even though we don't know each other. Help us love each other, even though we don't know each other. Help us borrow, let others borrow. Help us not lay up treasures. Help us not love treasure on earth. Help us do our deeds in secret. Do our deeds for the needy in secret. Pray in secret. Fast in secret. Let it be, Master. Let it be. Master Yahushua HaMashiach, Son of Yah, the Messiah, the Son of God. Let it be. Peace, love, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Till next time, peace and love.